Hi guys, welcome back to the second part of the tutorial, for the creation of the logo Untitled Evolution. In this second part, we will create the scenario relying on style of Tron, but, with a little imagination, this technique can be used to create other scenarios. The Untitled members will find all project files, the step-by-step folder, to realize and understand this tutorial in all its phases. First, we must extract the video image of Tron, to be able to modify for our purpose. In After Effects folder files step by step, I have previously done this with Photoshop. The file is called baseriff.jpg. We open our base with Photoshop. First, make sure the file size to 1280 and 533 pixels match. We go to Image, Image Size, edit 1600 with 1280, and we automatically bring the measure 533. Let's OK. This is our basis, on which we will work to achieve our scenario. We give our basic level, a level 0, do this simple, to click on, and the window layer 0. We click OK. Soon after, we go to change the measurement of our project. We edit 533 to 720 pixel. To do this, we must go on Image, Canvas Size, type 720. Create a new layer, renamed Black Base. Let's OK. Let's take him below the level 0 and fill it with black. Proceed with the creation of lines and lights that are horizon. The lines can be created in several ways, either with a brush, or simply creating a new layer, a selection rectangle. We use the info panel for the reference measures. We need to create a rectangle top 5 pixels. We apply an RGB color to this rectangle with the following values. (23, 66, 87). Fill our rectangle. Apply a blur filter, motion blur. The angle is 90, and the distance should be 3, let OK. And we realize that we have created a gradient on this line. Rename the newly created level, Horizon Line A. Add a new layer, and rename it in Horizon Line B. We will take this under and we create a selection rectangle 8 pixels high. We apply a fill with the following RGB values: 22, 55, 71. Fill. At this level, apply a blur filter, motion blur, 90. And the distance is 5. Align the two horizon line to base. Proceed with the creation of the lights in the horizon. For the lights, definitely the best method is to use the classic brush, circular shape, with soft edges. Create a new layer. Change our brush. And assign a measure 9. opacity 100, 100 flow. We can use as a color, or white. Or we can assign the RGB value. 255, 211, 106. Click OK. I will assign to brush, white color. And apply, in the layer, a layer style. Color overlay, with the color you early created. To make this process much easier, simply turn the key of our keyboard tab. In this way we'll show the edge of our circular brush, to adjust the intensity, instead of color to apply. As we see from the various strokes, must be made with different color intensity. We can simplify this step by using the buttons on the keyboard. At this time, the opacity value is 40. If I press 0, the value becomes 100. If you press 3, becomes 30. In this way, it's easy to give every light opaque. Unlike any other, it seems strange. This procedure might seem very long, but I assure you that with this method, take a few minutes. Once this has completed, rename the layer Small Light Horizon. This is the result I got. Duplicate the layer. Rename the layer Small Light Horizon R. It flip down. Edit, transform. Flip vertical. We bring the opacity to 40, we obtain the reflection effect. I follow this. I prefer to render this level with 40 opacity, to make it as if it were 100. To do this procedure, simply turn the level in Smart Object. After which rasterize the level. Obviously, you missed the effect of colored lights, but we can copy and paste the layer style. To play the skyline of mountains, return in level 0, with the instrument, Polygonal Lasso. We will create a selection, which reproduces the profile of the mountains. Does not require a very detailed precision. We serve as elements in the scene. Completed the selection with the active layer level 0. Press Command J or Control J. Automatically, we created a new level with the element of selection that we have created. Rename the new layer obtained Mountain Skyline. The position above black base, and apply a Gaussian blur at this level with a value of 4 pixels. To finish, we add a few effects on this level. Apply a color gradient. We will have these color values: 30, 67, 73. And black color. We place the black color, 54. Just make sure that both align with the active layer, and give OK. At this level, we add an outer glow. Gradient type. Our gradient must begin with a green color, with these values: 67, 151, 165. Until you reach another green, with these values: 20, 49, 55. Opacity of the latter 0, but place this color opacity to 20. And location to 17. Let OK. Soon after, we set the spread to 5, and the size of 250. Active anti-aliased, and set the opacity to 72. To complete, apply a color overlay, black color, 60 opacity. Forgot. The color gradient, in this case, must be set to reverse. Create a new layer. Renames, floor. And arrange over the skyline, with a rectangular selection, having as reference horizon line and light level. We create the selection. Fill it with black color. This is the effect of our floor, but, to make it slightly more three-dimensional, we can create a light in this corner. We use the brush, with soft edges, measuring 300 pixels, apply the tab to see the brush. And give it the color, that we use the RGB color. 20. 49, 54. Try to create this light. OK. Proceed with the creation of the mythical Tron floor. In the After Effects folder Files step by step, you will find the file floor pattern FH11. I had previously prepared in freehand. As you can see, I created this pattern, duplicating a square with rounded corners. And then, I created the effect of perspective. You can also use another pattern. But, the important thing, is that the final effect of perspective, is straight, and the focus, turned towards the horizon of the reference image. I chose to create the effect of the illusion of glass. I copied and pasted the path, and assigned the RGB color with these values: 31, 85, 112. And then, I duplicate the same level. I deformed and moved down. This creates the illusion glass effect. As I mentioned in the first part of the tutorial, text evolution will be created and animated in After Effects. To proceed correctly for this procedure, we have to import the Video Evolution RIF MP4 into Photoshop. Open Panel, Window animation, set the timeline in the animation panel, about 4 seconds and 10. Select the video layer, and rasterized. Close the animation panel. And drag the layer, rasterized, within the level of our project. Close. Not save. And set the reference level to lighten mode. Here is our reference. Insert the text evolution. The font used is Helvetica Light. The size is 65 points. Obviously, it is important to assign the spacing of letters, in this case, 1065. We place the evolution text to obtain the same position. We can also turn off our standard reference. And assign a gradient color to text evolution. This gradient has two colors. The first is 60, 134, 149. Up to the second, 91, 242, 250. To complete our Photoshop files to be imported into After Effects, posted two black bars above and below. Create a new layer. We use imported as a reference level for the creation of the selection. Invert the selection with the command Shift-I or Control-Shift-I. And activating the level 2. Assign the black color. Rename this layer with Video Band. And applied layer style strokes. Outside 2 pixels. With color 36, 80, 93. We set the opacity to 60. At this point, we can delete the reference level text evolution. Erase even the most basic level, from where we started to realize a scene. Let's save our project as basicanimation.psd. We do not do this procedure, because the file was saved. But, if you had problems in the implementation of this tutorial, you can always open the file inside the folder After Effects Files, step by step, basicanimation.psd, and compare your work until now. We proceed compositing work inside After Effects. But first we must ensure we have within the After Effects folder files, step by step, all the files that will make us realize this compositing. In this case, also included evolutionriv.mp4, and logoiachut's evolution video, we previously rendered. To import files into After Effects, enough, select the files that interest us, and drag inside the project panel. As we already noted, base animation, that was previously made in Photoshop, has been converted into a composition, with all the levels we achieved. First drag, logo evolution adjusts to icon composition creation. As we can see, we created a new composition, with inside the logo animation. The movie has already made with embedded alpha channel. The total duration of our project in about 19 seconds. The logo created in Cinema 4D arrives in 18 seconds, and we modify the term in composition. Composition settings. Insert in duration 19 seconds. And give OK. In this way, we have extended our composition in 19 seconds. Soon after, we begin to fix those that are markers of references, to understand the process of our animation. I use this system to set along the timeline of our animation, of the references that I will need to understand the process of work to go to achieve. To proceed, in a simple way to insert markers. Just click on the time code. And the palette go to time. Let's enter the frame that we mark. For 4 and 10 second, to go just type 410. The timeline will stop at frame required. We set the first marker. The second, 4 seconds and 15. The third at 6 seconds and 06. The fourth at 8 seconds 06. The fifth at 9 seconds. The sixth at 13 seconds. The seventh at 15 and 07. Eighth at 15 and 16. And finally, the ninth at 16 seconds and 12. You will be asking, why the inclusion of all these markers? It's very simple. The 0 marker is virtually with 0 of the timeline. From 0 to 1, we have the 3D animation of the logo adjusts. Between marker 2 and 3, the text evolution appears, with the neon effect. The duration between 3 and 4, is the permanence of text evolution. Between 4 and 5, the fade out of the text evolution. Between 5 and 6, have an intermediate stage, with the appearance of the logo CRRNTN. During 6 and 7, we have the overall fade out all the animation, but with a surprise. In marker 7 and 8, immediately after, the appearance of Tron neon motorcycle animation. To make you understand why, you do see this process in advance of the final file. This complete file already can see the result through the reference markers. Simply pressing keys on the numeric keypad, we can see the various important points of our animation. As we said earlier, the text evolution will appear between 2 and 3. The duration of your stand between 3 and 4. Between 4 and 5, will fade out the text evolution. Between 5 and 6, will appear logo CRRNTN. Between 6 and 7, will be a few frames before the fade out general. Immediately after the marker 7 and 8, we'll see the 2 neon Tron bikes. Obviously, we have a closing that starts from the 9 marker. That's how you can proceed as a project line. Back to our original plan. If you had problems in performing these steps, you can always open the file inside the folder After Effects Files, step by step, file number 01. First we need to match the size of this area of work with that of basic animation. To do this, go to Composition, Composition Settings. Let's change 533 with 720 pixels. Now, we can drag the base animation comp under the logo Untitled animation. Already, we can see the first impact. Come on, and take the level video band to the base comp. It onto the clipboard, with a Command X or Control X. And paste it into logo Untitled evolution comp. Soon after, we disable the text evolution layer inside the base animation composition. As we can see, the length of time-based animation is setting in 18 seconds and 20. If you want to restore the extent of the logo Untitled in 19 seconds, just go to Base Animation, Composition, Composition Settings. It should also correct this composition. Type 19 seconds. Now, first we select all levels, and after, we extend all. Return on Untitled logo animation comp, and automatically correct length elongation at. Proceed with the inclusion of the effects on the logo Untitled evolution. Select 3. To enter and go as the first effect. Levels. Inputs change, only black. In this case, we'll take him to 26. Now, let's add a glow effect. The parameters that we will change are the following. Bring the glow radius to 30. Intensity at 3. Glow colors, we set from original colors to AB colors. Set color looping to triangle B, A, B. A B midpoint at 10. And changing colors with A 29, 63, 72. And the colors of B 24, 47, 51. Let OK. Disable logo Untitled evolution. We import our movie reference and set its overlap on lighten. Thus we have a reference for animated text evolution. Remembering that the markers help us to build the animation. From 1 to 5, we reproduce the movement in 3-dimensional space. First, we go to copy the text inside the base animation. Copy and paste. We must convert this level from Photoshop layer to convert to editable text. Delete all letters and leave only the E letter. Duplicate the E layer and edit with V right. Positioned to coincide with the reference. This simple step is repeated on all the letters forming the text evolution. After this step, do not forget to rename the different levels with their letters. As we already know, This way is easier to go to change the animation in its phase. Proceed with the insertion of keyframes. Select levels from the E and N, and press P from keyboard. Before inserting the keyframe, make sure the levels are all as active like 3D levels. The marker 1, insert the first keyframe. Come on, the marker 5, as we see, letters must move both along the z-axis, X and Y. Proceed letter by letter, start with the E letter. Amended before the Z position, and later with the arrow keys, we place Y and Z. Once the letter, and proceed with all other letters. I give advice. If we analyze the coordinates of the position of E, going to put on the V, Z position is less 189. Y position, 470. And finally with the arrow keys we align with the reference. If you do not have the annoying reference axis After Effects, so to speak, these can be disabled by pressing the command Shift-H or Control-Shift-H. This process of positioning the keyframe marker 5 must be done on all the letters. Repeat, less 189, 470, and keyboard arrows. Once the positioning, the marker 5 of all letters. Speed up the video to see the result. First, we disable the level of reference. Insert effect, glow, all letters. The only parameter that we are going to change it is glow radius. Increased from 10 to 40. After, copy the glow by E letter and paste all other levels. Perfect. Proceed with the implementation of the neon effect to written evolution. As mentioned earlier, starting with the letter E, in the second marker, the marker must within 3, to reveal all the letters of the text evolution. With a sequence, from outside to inside, up to the U letter. We start with the E letter. Press T on your keyboard, and set the first keyframe. Opacity, with 0. After 4 frames, insert another keyframe with a value of 100. After another 4 frames, insert another keyframe by value 17. And finally, after another 4 frames, insert the last keyframe with a value of 100. In this way, the letter will appear. As I said before, animation, by closing the marker 5. We apply the following sequence. We place, in frame 806. B. The first keyframe value is already set to 100. After 4 frames, insert another keyframe with 0. After 4 frames, insert another keyframe by value 17. And finally, after another 4 frames, insert the last keyframe with 0. In this way, we created the opening and closing. The sequence of animation must be shown by all the other letters. You can also choose your personal sequence. I will show my. I copy the sequence of keyframes in the V letter. Frame opening is 503. Frame 812 is closing. For the O letter, frame opening is 509. (815) is closing. The L letter, frame opening is 515. Frame 812 is closing. For the U letter, frame opening is 521. (809) is closing. With the T letter, frame opening is 518. (806) is closing. The I letter, opening is 512. Frame 809 is closing. For the O letter, frame opening is 506. (812) is closing. Finally, the letter N, opening is 421. And 815 is closing. In this way, we obtained an animation that will close within the marker 5. Get the result, press the space bar. OK. Delete the video reference of the text evolution. We can even cancel within the project panel. Now, we insert into the base animation, clouds. The best way to enter the clouds, it might seem the creation of a particle system. But, in this case, I opted for a video recording of a real sky, before a storm. The movie chosen is this. His appearance is completely relevant to our project. Drag the movie 03 under mountain skyline. Change, disable the proportional scale. Insert 160 and 142.6. Also, modify the position. 640 and 134. To improve the effect of overlap, add effect. Tritone. Change the mid color. 29, 54, 61. How we see the result is very cool. Activate the logo, we set the display to full view, and see our impact. Proceed with the illusion of camera rotation. As we see, the animation from 0 to 1 marker has a fixed impact, meaning that the background has no motion. Could intervene in Cinema 4D by importing data rates. But, in this case, it is a simple camera animation. We can achieve it in After Effects. We show how. Select Base Level, we activate as Level 3D. Insert keyframes on the position and orientation. And even after, the opacity. The values of these parameters are 640, 600, less 150. Opacity is 0. We move to 3 frames. Activate the 2 keyframes on orientation and opacity. Change the orientation with 20 and 10.7. And finally, the opacity to 100. We place to 405 frame. Activate all 3 keyframes. The position is 640, 360, 0. Orientation is 0. The opacity is 100. We'll show the sequence. We see that to improve the impact, we have to insert the value Z orientation. The value is 11. We obtained the camera rotation effect. But, we note that the sky is cut. You can work around this problem, going to Base Animation and Composition settings, changing the height from 720 to 1280 pixel. Return on logo at its evolution. We can see that the background wheel, but not clear cut. In this case, to make the effect even more fluid, we turn first keyframes. From Keyframe Assistant, activate Easy In. In the last frame, Keyframe Assistant, activate Easy Out. This will give the camera a more fluid movement. Proceed with the animation of the lights in the horizon. To give a very realistic light to the horizon, we'll use the fractal noise effect. We show how. First, select the 2 layers, Small Light Horizon and Small Light Horizon R. We create a pre-composed layer. Rename in Small Light Horizon. Clicking on it. Visualize the entire 50. Disable reflected light. and we add a new layer solid. We need to be 50 pixel high, with gray value 114. We position our frame obtained more or less above the lights. We apply the fractal noise. As for the animation of fractal, we set keyframes on. Offset turbulence, sub-offset, and evolution. Set keyframes by default in 0 position. At the end, about 19 seconds, we set the values in 1281, 25, 1280, 0, 6. That creates this kind of animation. To complete the procedure, insert the fractal below small light horizon and activate alpha matte. If you zoom to 100, visualize the result. The same level with the fractal effect, we can duplicate and implement even the reflected light. Unfortunately, the use of alpha mattes, darkening a bit level of light, we can recover the brightness. Returning to the base animation, and apply and pre-comp small light horizon level, auto levels filter. And then, always the same. To restore the yellow color, apply CC toner effect. Values to be assigned to the colors are: highlights 255, 210, 106. Midtones 182, 151, 49. Shadows 108, 95, 53. Let OK. We can see the result on the lights. If you have experienced difficulties in carrying out this exercise, you can always open the file inside the folder After Effects Files, Step by Step, Logo Untitled Evolution number 02. We continue our project with Tron Neon Motorcycles compositing. For this work, we must make attention to the manipulation of the movie. We're going to import the video into After Effects. And we will create a sequence, frame after frame of an animation, on a mask. So, we can extract only the sequence of motion, and cancel the rest. Follow me, and I show you how. First, drag the file Untitled Evolution Roto, the icon for creating a new composition. Click on the timecode. We place the timeline and trim bar to 2 seconds. After, we place the timeline and trim bar to 306 frame. Cut through the trim bar. This is the part of the video we're going to use. Is between 2 seconds and 3 seconds and 06. We must build a mask that the contour neon cycles. This mask must follow the neon cycles frame by frame. This work will require some time. But, if we do good work, I assure you that the result will be really cool. If you followed my advice, namely to create an animated mask, frame by frame, eventually, you should have a result like this. After creating the sequence of the masks, very important, insert a feather mask value, 75. We must go to solve the problem of the lights that remain present in all these frames. Follow me, and I show you how to solve this. I created a layer, adjustment layer. In this layer I applied a blur compound effect. As you can see, By setting the value to 23, the lights are gone, but the rest of the video should not have blur. How can we apply the compound blur only on the lights? We can create a second sequence of mask that applies the effect only on the lights. And the rest, here, I invite you to do various tests. Having tried inserting a feather to 75, and then to 250. Eventually, I realized that the set feather best to 75. But I use a sequence of masks, very long and with a minimum height, including only the lights. I confirm, with mask feather at 75. The result is okay. Return on the HUD's comp. We place the marker 7. And drag our composition roto HUD's evolution over the N letter. We place in marker 7. Change the scale. 57. We set the position. 542 and 527. Already, if we move the marker 8, we can see the result. Place above the logo. And set the overlay mode to add. Improve the result by applying exposure. Parameters of exposure are 0.5, 0.001, and 0.6. Duplicate. Transform as level, activate 3D level. We orient to right, inserting 180, in Y orientation. With arrows, go to right position. Later, to change the color, apply the tritone effect. Modify midtones with the following values: 22, 159, 199. Let's OK. We got the diversification of neon cycles. After this, we shift the duplicate layer, bringing it to the marker 8. And finally, to the marker 9, we have to close both. Once done with this, we can close, with the inclusion of the image close. Let's take him, in the marker 9. Add a solid layer. 1280, 720 pixel. Black color. Let's take him, below the video band, which corresponds to the marker 9. On the solid black, we apply a keyframe opacity. Start from 0, to get to the end 19 seconds. That is 100. Prolong the presence of video band layer. We complete our animation. Returning to the marker 7. We apply our level logo HUD's evolution, leaving a 100 opacity keyframe. By marker 9, the opacity of the logo must be brought 5. This fade out the logo, we'll see more the passage of neon cycles of Tron. Insert audio files. Drag the first audio file. We'll give all the animation a continuous basis. By marker 7, on our audio file, we'll decrease in intensity. So, we need to create a slight fade with keyframes. The first keyframe at marker 6, and the marker 7, keyframe value, is less 12 decibel. Shorten the length of the level. Fact this, drag the second audio file, in the marker 7. Not forget, on composition roto-HUT's evolution. Disable audio in roto layer. Excuse me, but the solid black level must start from marker 6. Then, a frame before a marker 7, insert keyframe's opacity to 80. Return in the marker 7, and keyframe's opacity is 0. OK, insert the closing to 100, at the end of the animation. OK, we go to render settings. Here is the result of our work. Beautiful, very nice. I hope this tutorial has been to your liking. See you soon for another great tutorial, always on Untitled. Greetings, from Antonio Seri, at Next.